Okay. This is gonna be a demonstration for, the next steps after you've finished coloring in the background of your silhouette drawings. So, pretty much we're just gonna be drawing like we're coloring the rest of the drawing. So, like I said before, background's gonna be at least like 30 or 40% of the drawing. So, obviously if you've done a pretty good job with the background, then I definitely would move on ahead. But just keep in mind though, we're working with oil pastels. So kind of don't feel bad if like you don't like how the background is looking. You want to kind of redraw it again, or recolor it again, or reblend it again. I'm completely fine with that. The only thing though is, obviously you have to kind of redraw things. Obviously, you don't want to go super detailed because we're doing mostly in oil pastels. But I would say like the background though is like, if you feel comfortable, move on. If not, don't feel bad if you have to start over on it again. Maybe you just didn't get enough time with practicing with the oil pastels. Maybe you couldn't get like a good feel for it. So just let me know if you need help or have any questions on things. And definitely I don't mind really just showing you, how to blend the colors properly on your work the second time around. Okay, but if you are ready to move on though, and it's fine if you're not, all you're gonna do is just kind of work on the coloring of the rest of the picture. So pretty much everything is gonna be kind of blending in the same method or methodology. It's gonna be different colors that you're gonna probably be using. So my original reference I had here, I wanted to do like kind of a pink cherry blossom with the blue background. So, I decided to go with pink. So, if I wanted to, though, I could go with like an orange cherry blossom tree or maybe like a yellow one. I feel like orange would be really good with this one because of the blue. So I'm actually a little happy I added this green because green is really a nice complementary to this pink, which is like a version of red. So, I don't have a color wheel with me though, but those are like opposites on the color wheel. So, kind of whatever your focal point is, your emphasis, because I want us to kind of focus on the tree here. It is really good to have like complementary colors, but if you want to keep it like the same color schemes throughout the whole picture, that's completely fine too. And then for like the trees itself, I'm gonna do like a dark silhouette. But I'll also add some details to like the certain parts of the trees because I think there's like some really nice highlights like within the sides of the tree right here. So okay, so keeping those things in mind, we're just gonna keep moving forward. And if you notice, so there's like a mirror reflection here, so I don't really want to work on the reflection part just yet, just because whatever happens up here will dictate how the bottom will look. Okay, so this is like one of those weird instances where I wouldn't do like the whole drawing all the way around, but I'm only doing like the top half first, and then I'm gonna work on the bottom half once I've figured out everything on the top. And you make those artistic decisions when you work on that part. Okay, so I'm gonna grab my little pastels. Same thing like before. I'm gonna go work with my pink here now. Go look at my reference. So I'm just gonna color this part pink, and as you can see, I've kind of already done it right here. So this part I mixed in with a little bit of the white, the pink, and then the violet. So I'm not gonna go too crazy with the colors for this one here. I can zoom in a little bit closer so you guys can see what I'm doing. So, just going lightly with the pastels here. And I'm not going exactly like to the edge, but I'm just going to like wherever I just stop coloring. So, in terms of like edge to edge to like certain things that you're coloring in, you don't have to follow your drawing sketch exactly. You can always feel free to change it up a little bit. I'm going to leave these parts white though. And just like what we did with the background, you want to lightly build up your oil pastels. So going in circular motions, taking my time. I'm just, coloring in just like a section of it. So this is where like the second part of the practice will come into play. So if you look at like the way the bushes or parts of the trees are colored in, there's like obviously certain sections of the bushes I'm not coloring like the whole thing pink and then just thinking about like a light and dark, but there are like different like sections where I can kind of color in to create like shape and value. Like, here's like a really good example of like that spot I'm talking about. So, kind of create that shape and form. You want to incorporate the values that we've talked about in like the previous project when you did your landscape drawing. So this is like parts in shadow here, and then this part's in the kind of like the middle gray, and this is where like the highlight is. So if you kind of remember like the sphere drawing that we did before. So I'm gonna put these side by side if I can. I had to zoom out a little bit. So you see how there's like kind of a connection between how this is shaded and that. I see like a shadow here, shadow there. This is like your main color, which is the pink. And then you have your highlight up here and highlight up there. Okay, so the stuff that we practiced on, it's coming back to us. So, okay, so this is like where that second practice will come into play, because you're gonna have certain shapes and forms that are gonna follow the same exact rules. So, okay, so let's just say I want to do like this section here, and okay, now if you were to be like super nitpicky though about the drawing itself and what's happening there relating to your reference, in theory the light source is actually coming from this moon here, so I may put like a what they call a cast lighting behind the tree here, but I'm gonna still kind of stick with this reference though, where like I'm doing like the shadows, highlights, mid grays. As I feel like it's probably easier that way to just kind of follow my reference. If everything, if all else fails, though, always follow like the reference. All right, so I'm just kind of coloring this area pink. If you wanted to, you could just color the whole thing in pink, but I'm just gonna work on like a small section here. So, I'm gonna use like this reference, just kind of work on like this section here. So, okay, so I'm gonna go with the purple here. So most of this section of the tree is going to be mostly in shadow, so I'm just going to color in the areas that I feel would be like where the shadows would best fall in. So, and you don't have to copy the reference exactly, but it's just to give you like a little bit of a guide, like on how to go about with coloring and rendering your piece. Some of these little pieces of cherry blossom falling. But, just like what we did with like your practice before, though, we're just building the pastel. So I'm going to go with the purple. Now I'm going back with the pink. So this example, I'm actually using just the analogous colors. I don't think I'm going to use like the complementary colors, just because I don't want to mix in too many colors. So this is where you guys can make like your artistic choices, on like what colors you want to choose and use. Like analogous is always a real safe bet. Complementary could be like hit or miss, So I would definitely look at like the different colors that you've experimented with. If like this is like the colors I want to use for my picture, then go with those colors. If it's like something yucky like this, I wouldn't do it. So part of that practice was just to figure out what colors you wanted to use, because ideally you can kind of pick and choose any kind of colors you want for this project. And if you're not sure though, just ask me for a blank sheet of paper. I can just have you guys just kind of experiment with the colors. Okay, I'm gonna zoom in closer so you guys can see. So I have like a really nice established lights and darks here. I'm just gonna do just a few highlights on like certain areas. I'm not gonna do it on too many, but that'll just give it a little bit of like a pop to it. So this is like a pretty nice section right here that I've done. So I'll blend the pink in with the white, and then as you kind of build up your pastels, and just do take your time with this. Okay, no rush, no worries. It'll look exactly like the way you wanted it to. So now I'm just pressing harder now because I've gotten most of my first layer down. And now I'm getting like that look that I want. So I'm going a little bit more pink than the purple, just because I don't want the shadows to be overbearing. Okay, and that's pretty much it though. So you just kind of work on the different sections, build up your layers, you know, until you're kind of like done with the tree. So you see how like I'm getting the like this part very similar to that now. So that's how you would kind of go about with it, you know, just kind of layer it, put it into sections. Okay. So I would do all of the, you know, this coloring first. I know some of you guys are really antsy. You use the black to, you know, do the silhouette part, but save the black for like the last part. Just because when you're blending in the pastels, even though it's like very close to the edge, you don't really want to mix this black with your other colors. Okay, but save the black for the very end though, which, you know, I'll show you in another video. Okay.